Welcome back, everybody. I'm Brad.
I'm Steve.
I'm going to butcher this name again. Mandarina Bavaria Smash beer.
We'll go with that.
Yep. So this is the second review of it. The first review I did on 8/9.
Okay, so this is a month old.
Yeah, well, this was bottled. It's a month after.
Oh, a month after.
So this was bottled on 6/29.
Oh, okay.
4.73% ABV. This is using 2 pounds of 2-row. Then hop schedule is 0.39 at 30 minutes, 0.29 at 5 minutes, 0.32 ounces dry hop 3 days until fermentation. And that's it. I don't remember what this tasted like last time. And, brand new cap. What I try and do is not go back and review them just so we have unbiased tasting of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and, even if it's different, that doesn't mean you were wrong the first time.
Right.
It just means the flavor might have changed or, it just ages differently.
Right. Yeah, and that's what we're also trying to do in the small batch series is how do these smash beers age? Do we get hops, for 8 months? Do we get malt after the second month?
Do we get
Maris
Otter for one day?
Yeah. So we're just trying to see what happens. Also, carbonation tablets. What's that do over time? We've got bubbles. Steve doesn't have a head, but he got the first pour. I do have some plastic bottles versus glass bottles. Do these plastic bottles after 15 uses start giving off some flavor?
Yeah.
Or, something.
So far, I've been happy with
it. Yeah. And I think even on the Mr. Beer 2-gallon kit, that's what some people were complaining about, is they made some weird beer in it, and the next beer they went to make smelled like chives or something, something like that.
And that wouldn't shock me, because when I brew wine or anything like that at home, I usually throw that bucket away. Because I can't get that wine smell out. Same with the beer. I smell beer, but it's less invasive as that wine.
Yep.
And I would never brew a wine or a beer in a wine and wine and
well, they actually, the last magazine was combining malts and grapes.
Interesting. I don't know if I can do that one.
So we're trying to see a lot of the stuff at once, but this is the Smash series, so single malt, single hop, so that's what this is. Head is gone. What about the color? Chill haze.
Yep, a little bit. But, when I get it down like this,
it's almost like
darker, and I like the color.
But
when you get it up to the light,
yellow,
it looks like a yellowish.
I'm going by years because I did get the end, so I've got protein and yeast, and that's from the Mr. Beer 2-gallon carboy. I was going to look up, sorry, I forgot all about it, the hop profile.
Okay.
I'm going to bring it up, but I'm not going to look at it. Then we'll smell it and do all that. Then we'll see if we can say what the hop profile is. And I do like doing this just because, the bag says this, but do you really get this? So
it's kind of like looking at, Zillow. Your house is worth this, but would somebody pay that?
Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and smell.
Oh, I like the smell of this one. It's kind of like a tropical, fruity. What are you getting?
We smell the same. So I get a tropical, juicy fruit with a tiny bit of citrus in the backbone of it.
Very little. I like that. That smells great. I bet you.
And you were yelling at me from getting these weird hops.
This is probably a great one to at least dry hop with for sure.
Yeah.
We'll see how it tastes.
Okay, let's go ahead and taste.
Wow. It's a little more bitter than I thought it would be.
Yep.
It's
bringing back memories of the first tasting to me now.
It's very bitter. It dissipates. I mean, it doesn't linger too long.
That bitterness to me does.
I guess
It.
I gotta.
I'll let you.
It's not quite piney, but it's getting close to it. And I'm not getting any of the tropical stuff that I was smelling.
Okay.
And that bitter is still kind of sitting there.
Yep.
It's drying me out a little bit.
Okay, so in the taste, I get tropical fruit up front, but as it's going past the front of the palate, that bitterness just slams it.
Yeah, and maybe I'm just...
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that's why I didn't want to say anything, but I get on the very tip, there is a good tropical juiciness.
Ooh, not long.
So what do you think the alpha acid on this?
It's got to be high. It's got to be in the teens. 11, 12?
8.4.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh. That's crazy because the smell is awesome.
But I would say, because there's so much bitterness, but I do get that tropical fruit, as you said at the beginning, this would be an awesome dry hop.
Yeah.
Not in the boil. To me, this does not belong in the boil.
No. That smells great.
You might be able to use it, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that, whirlpool. But to me, because of how much bitterness is there, I wouldn't put it in the boil.
No, not unless that's what you're going for.
Right.
But when I smelled it, I was thinking of the Tropicana.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is going to be awesome. And then it's like, well, maybe not.
It's not a drain pour, but you better like bitterness.
Yeah. I mean, it is. It'll dry you out a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like drinking kind of a brute champagne kind of stuff. It'll dry you out.
But that bitterness just sits back in my throat.
Yeah, it does. I'd still drink it.
Yeah.
But that smell got me to here, and then I drank, and I'm like, well, it's all right. I mean,
so I'm pretty sure I did it. Yeah. So tangerine citrus is what this hop has.
Maybe if you put it, like you said, later in the boil, 15, 10, 5 minutes, but...
Well, it was at 5 minutes.
Well, yeah, but you might get the...
Without that
minute.
first,
yeah.
Yeah, and that's the other crazy part, because it's not like we put any at 60 minutes. Mm-hmm. It's at 30. It's halfway done with the boil when we added that first addition.
Yeah, and I think that was our fear was...
Yeah,
we're going to get a non-dual purpose hop, and we're going to use it when we shouldn't be, and we're going to get some crazy flavors off, and they'll overpower everything. But, yeah, I'd stay as far away from that 30 as I could, and keep near the 5 minute maybe.
Yeah, and I think this would be a good one to redo and do a 10 minute, a 5 minute, or a 10 minute, 1 minute, and then dry hop with the rest, or do something like that. Because it
smells awesome.
That bitterness, it's tasting at a higher perceived bitterness than it actually is. Because I'm guessing it's probably 40, if that, 40 IBUs.
And the more I drink it, the more I do get that fruit in the front. Yeah. Because I'm expecting the bitterness now.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's a little too bitter for my liking.
Body's fine.
Body's great.
I don't think the malt, that 2-row, I don't think that's starting to climb at all. I don't get toastiness. I don't get bread. I don't get biscuit. I don't get any of that. But I have a fear it's that bitterness that's really kicking in and taking over a lot. But like I said, I get that fruit up front. I think if the malt was taking over, that biscuit, toasted bread would also come with that fruitiness.
I wonder too, like if you age this a little longer, if that bitterness will kind of mellow, and then you'll be able to get more of those flavors out. It's disappointing though that you wouldn't know to age this beer. Like you're expecting good beer up front,
right,
and maybe deteriorate over time. So, yeah, I don't know.
And that is a good point. I think I have one or two. If I have two, we'll do one next month. Then we'll save that last one
like
for something down the road, because the alpha acid should start to fall.
Yeah.
Is the bitterness gonna fall?
I don't know, but
it's a low alpha. It's a medium alpha acid hop.
I'm wondering though. I'd love to see some recipes with this hop, because I'm wondering if you were to throw in some maybe sweeter malts or something that's more like a malt that might challenge that bitterness slightly. Mm-hmm. If it would maybe balance that beer a little more. But
I think from this tasting, I wouldn't put it anywhere past 10 minutes left in the boil.
No, and I would definitely use it on dry hop, because that smell is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing smells great.
Yeah, it's a good beer. If you're into bitter beers, and I shouldn't say you can take it, but if you're okay with it, definitely one to brew with 30 minutes, then 5 minutes. But even to me, that it's too much. I could drink a full one of these, but that bitterness just lingers and stays there. I'm like, okay, go on. And like you were saying, it almost dries me out.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's my only problem with it is...
But you drink it faster because your throat's drier, so you want to get through it quick.
Right.
And it's low in ABV. It's almost like a lawnmower beer, but with that bitterness so high, it's like, man, this is kind of high. I better watch what I'm doing.
Yeah, you would think it was like a 6% at least, but...
yeah, I would think with all that bitterness, what they were trying to do was balance all the malt. So I would put it 6.5%, 7.5% ABV because of all that bitterness.
But I do like with these experiments that we're finding things that, I would have probably never grabbed that hop. And if I did, I'd probably use it wrong. But now with doing this experiment in smaller batches, going, okay, if I want to make a beer that tastes tropical and smells awesome, I'm going to use maybe like a Citra, and then I'm going to dry hop the hell out of it
with this. Yeah. Yeah, and that's what we will get into when we get into the 2-hop brews. We've already started, but we're still on Cascade Centennial. Mm-hmm. But yeah, a Citra I think would help this out with this in the dry hop, or Whirlpool, something way back at the end, and I think you would have a good beer.
Yeah.
Cool. So if you like this video, thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you know when new videos are coming out. And until next time, I'm Brad.
And I'm Steve.
Happy brewing.
See you next time.